From the dawn of humanity, through ancient lands where sages meditated in silence, to modern cities filled with lights and restless hearts, the question about death and consciousness has always echoed in the human mind. It arises when we face loss, when fear whispers about the end, and when we witness the departure of those we love. People have longed for a clear answer, a place to cling to, heaven for the righteous, hell for the sinful, or nothingness as the final closure. Yet, in the teachings of the Buddha, the truth goes beyond these concepts. He taught there is no fixed self to go anywhere. What we call self is merely a temporary combination of body and mind, ever-changing like a breeze that cannot be held. When the body dissolves, there is no eternal soul departing. Only a stream of consciousness continues, carrying the imprints of karma created throughout life. This stream, like a river flowing across many lands, remains water, though its form changes. Karma builds the bridge, guiding consciousness to its next realm. Whether of peace or suffering depends not on judgment, but on natural law, on the seeds we have planted. Thus, life is a priceless chance to cultivate, to transform, to plant seeds of compassion and wisdom. Each wholesome thought, each truthful word, and each kind act is a seed of light. Each moment of mindfulness is a step toward liberation. When the heart is nourished by love, forgiveness, and wisdom, it moves toward light. But when dominated by greed, anger, and delusion, it drifts into darkness. Buddhism offers no fixed destination to soothe fear. It reveals the truth that mind shapes all, karma directs the path, and awareness transforms karma. With this understanding, death is no longer an ending, nor a horror. It becomes a natural continuation, a doorway to transformation. Like autumn leaves falling so that spring buds may bloom, death is not destruction, but change.
In Buddhist tradition, the period after death, known as the intermediate state, is when consciousness remains sensitive, still connected to love and energy from the living. Prayers, chanting, and an atmosphere of compassion gently guide the departing soul. Therefore, when loss comes, instead of clinging in grief, send love and blessings. This is the deepest way to love. The Buddha also taught that to prepare for a peaceful death, we must learn to live mindfully, for how we live today shapes the journey ahead. Living in anger and selfishness ties us to darkness, while living with love, forgiveness, and wisdom sows seeds leading to light. Western culture often fears death as final loss, striving desperately to prolong life, yet forgetting that life is beautiful only when impermanence is accepted. Impermanence is not an enemy, but a truth that opens the door to change. Because of impermanence, suffering can transform. Because of impermanence, death is not the end. When we truly see non-self and impermanence, fear dissolves and serenity arises. We realize there is no need to cling to body, possessions, or status, for none of these follow us beyond. Only karma, only mind, only what is wholesome illuminates the path. Each passing day reminds us to live fully, to live as if today were the last, yet also as if it were the first, filled with love, filled with mindfulness, so that when the final moment comes, we can smile without regret, without fear. Death, then, is only a peaceful sleep before awakening in a radiant realm, where the light of wisdom shines, where the soul moves freely, where suffering is no more, only peace and boundless freedom remain. And when this becomes our experience, we see that death is no longer a question, but the answer to how we have lived.
Consciousness, according to the profound view of Buddhism, is not an immutable soul as many imagine. It does not exist as an independent and unchanging entity, but resembles a river that flows endlessly. Each moment of the river is different, each drop of water unique, yet all are connected in one continuous stream. This is the profound truth the Buddha revealed more than 2 millennia ago. He pointed out that what we call self has no stable foundation. It is only a temporary combination of body and mind, governed by impermanence and conditions. Like beads strung on a thread, each bead is a separate moment of consciousness, yet linked by causality. Because there is no permanent self, life is ever-changing, and death is not an end, but a transition. This insight changes how we perceive our existence. Modern neuroscience, through refined studies of the brain, is approaching this truth. Scientists have searched for a control center, a place believed to be the driver behind thoughts and actions, but they have found none. Instead, consciousness is seen as the result of countless neural processes, each handling parts of information and interacting to create the sense of a continuous self, yet with no fixed point of control. This view aligns with the Buddha's teaching in the Mahata Tanhasankhaya Sutta, where he said that consciousness is dependently arisen. It arises from conditions. It does not exist on its own, and it depends on body, feelings, perceptions, and the realm where it manifests. When conditions cease, consciousness ceases. There is no eternal soul traveling across lifetimes, only the continuation of conditions forming a stream of mind. Like a flame passed from one candle to another, the light continues, yet no entity moves. Understanding that consciousness is not permanent opens a new perspective on life and death. If consciousness is only a flow of conditions, it can change, it can transform, and this brings hope. No matter what our past was, if today we plant seeds of goodness, the mind will shift toward peace. Buddhism teaches that karma is precisely these seeds. Every thought, word, and action leaves an imprint, shaping the stream's path.
No God rewards or punishes. It is natural law at work. Thus life becomes a priceless chance to cultivate, to transform, and to plant seeds of compassion and wisdom, so that when the stream continues, it flows toward light. When this is deeply seen, death is no longer an ending, nor a verdict. It becomes a transformation, a natural change of the stream. In the West, death is often seen as final cessation, creating fear and driving people to cling to life. But the Buddha's words open a different vision. Death is like autumn leaves falling so that spring buds may emerge. not destruction, but preparation for renewal. Because consciousness is not fixed, we can transform it through practice, through mindfulness, through compassion and wisdom. Every moment of awareness is a step toward a serene death. Buddhism also teaches that, after death, consciousness remains in an intermediate state, sensitive and still connected to this world, able to feel love, prayers, and purity from the living. The best thing we can do for the departed is to create peace, radiate compassion, chant, and send blessings. This love and purity guide them gently through transition. This truth reminds us that, instead of clinging in sorrow, we must love by letting go, because letting go is the deepest form of love. Modern science says consciousness is a complex synthesis. Buddhism says consciousness arises from conditions, and both meet at the same point, that consciousness is not self-existing and not permanent. This does not make life meaningless. On the contrary, it makes life precious, because every moment is a unique chance to plant wholesome seeds, to awaken, and to transform. Knowing consciousness is only a flow, we learn to live lightly, without clinging, and without fear. We realize that all suffering can change, and all darkness can turn to light, because impermanence makes transformation possible, and non-self frees us from bondage. Thus, life itself becomes the path to liberation beyond death. When we practice as the Buddha taught, nourishing the mind with compassion and wisdom, at the final moment we will depart like one returning home, without fear and without regret. Death, then, is only a peaceful sleep before awakening into a radiant realm where wisdom's light shines, where the soul moves freely, where suffering no longer obscures, and only boundless peace remains. Death, in the light of Buddhist teachings, is never seen as the extinguishing of a lamp or the sudden end of a switch being turned off. It is regarded as a profound transformation, like water turning into vapor, vapor forming clouds, and clouds returning as rain. Every form changes, yet the flow of existence continues. The Buddha revealed that death is not loss, but transition, a shift of existence into another state. This makes death not a frightening darkness, but a doorway to another dimension of mind, where karma becomes the boat that carries consciousness to the other shore. There is no eternal soul leaving the body, no fixed entity moving from place to place, only the continuation of conditions and the operation of cause and effect. The stream of consciousness is like a river. Every drop of water is a new moment, yet connected to the previous, forming one unbroken flow. In the Mahatana Shankya Sutta, the Buddha taught, consciousness is dependently arisen. It arises due to conditions. It does not exist independently. It relies on body, feelings, perception, and its realm, and when those conditions cease, consciousness ceases. There is no eternal soul traveling through lifetimes, only the continuation of conditions forming the stream of mind. Therefore, death is neither absolute loss nor absolute permanence, only transformation. Karma is this connecting current. every thought, word, and deed we plant in life becomes a seed. These seeds do not disappear at death. They flow with karma, guiding the mind to its next destination. Karma is not punishment or reward. It is the natural outcome of causes, like a rice seed growing into a rice plant, a thorn seed sprouting into thorns. No one judges, no one decides, only cause and effect. The metaphor of a flame passed from one candle to another illustrates this vividly. The flame on the new candle is not the same as the old one, yet it exists because of the old. The light continues, but no entity moves. Likewise, the mind in the next life is not an immutable soul from the previous one, but the continuation shaped by karma. This truth reveals that there is neither total disappearance nor eternal sameness, only continuous transformation. Modern neuroscience indirectly confirms this. Scientists have not found a control center in the brain, no place acting as a separate self directing all actions. Instead, consciousness is understood as the result of countless neural processes, each handling a part and interacting to create the illusion of a continuous self, yet with no fixed point. This harmonizes perfectly with the Buddhist teaching. Consciousness is not a thing, but a flow of conditions. No self controls it, only the interaction of causes and conditions. This dissolves the idea of an eternal soul, while opening hope that everything can change. Because if consciousness is a stream, it can be redirected, and the practice of mindfulness is the way to guide the stream toward light. Buddhism emphasizes that death is an opportunity to see impermanence and non-self. When we live mindfully, practicing compassion and wisdom, we plant wholesome seeds, and these seeds guide the mind into peaceful realms. Western culture often fears death as an ending, a bottomless pit. But understanding the Buddhist teaching shows death like autumn leaves falling, so spring buds may bloom. Not destruction, but transformation. In that transformation, the mind learns, grows, and moves closer to liberation. In Buddhist tradition, the time right after death is called the intermediate state, when the mind is sensitive and still connected to this world. It can feel the energy of the living, and prayers, serenity, and loving kindness from loved ones help it cross gently. This is why Buddhism advises against wailing and clinging, which disturb the mind. Instead, keep the space calm, radiate compassion, chant, and send blessings. This not only helps the departed, but also teaches the living to let go. This letting go is not coldness, but the highest form of love. The truth that death is transformation does not make life meaningless. On the contrary, it makes life precious, because every moment is a unique chance to plant good seeds, to awaken, to love, and to transform. When we know death is not the end, we no longer fear it. Instead, we cherish every moment. We know that how we live today is how we prepare for our departure tomorrow. Living with compassion, wisdom, and mindfulness is planting seeds that lead to light. When the final moment comes, we will depart like one returning home, gentle, serene, without regret, and without fear. Death, then, is only a peaceful sleep before awakening into a new dawn, where the light of wisdom shines, where the soul moves freely, where suffering is no more, and only infinite peace remains.
In the light of Buddhist teaching, karma plays the role of a compass guiding the entire journey of consciousness. It is not a mystical arrangement, nor a hand of punishment and reward from a higher being. It is the natural law, impartial and objective. The Buddha taught that karma is cetana, intention, the motive behind every thought, word, and intentional action. Every intention, no matter how small, plants a seed in the mind. Over time, these seeds form habits and patterns that shape how we react, how we see the world, and ultimately how the stream of consciousness flows, not only in this life, but as it crosses death's threshold. Karma is like an invisible compass. Each thought, word, and action turns its needle, aligning it to the path created by those deeds. Thus, no external judgment is needed. The mind creates its own road. In the Bija Sutta, the Buddha used a profound metaphor. Karma is the soil, consciousness the seed, craving the moisture. The interplay of these three produces continuation. When the soil is fertile, the seed wholesome, and the moisture balanced, the plant grows strong and healthy. Likewise, when wholesome karma is cultivated, the mind continues in realms of light. But if the soil is barren, the seed corrupted, and craving binds moisture to attachment, the plant grows thorny, and the mind flows into suffering. Here, everything is self-created. There is no external force controlling, no one else shaping the path but ourselves. Understanding karma reveals that every living moment is an opportunity to redirect the compass. Every wholesome thought, kind word, and compassionate action realigns it toward light. Conversely, every angry thought, harmful word, and selfish action skews it toward darkness. Because karma is the habit of the mind, practice is the training to change those habits, to abandon old paths of suffering and open new ones leading to peace. Karma's operation also shows death is not an end point, for the seed of consciousness does not vanish. It falls into the soil it prepared and sprouts into new continuation. Life and death, thus, are two sides of one continuous process. Death is like changing clothes, shedding the old garment to wear a new one. Yet the new reflects choices made before. The karmic compass always points the way. In this understanding, every moment matters, every act matters, and this gives us freedom and responsibility. Modern neuroscience indirectly confirms this, finding no fixed control center in the brain. Consciousness emerges from countless processes interacting. Much like the Buddha said, it arises dependently with no fixed self controlling it. This makes it transformable, and knowing it can transform dissolves fear of death, because death is no longer endless darkness, but a natural continuation guided by karma. When good karma is nurtured, the mind flows into light. Mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom are how we adjust this compass. When this is seen, death is no longer terrifying, for the final moment becomes a gentle return home, guided by the compass that has been aligned toward realms of peace and light.
In Buddhist teaching, the 6 realms of samsara are not merely distant places reached after death. They are mental states reflecting the realms of rebirth. Each realm symbolizes a dominant energy of the mind, And from these energies, karma guides the stream of consciousness, shaping the cycle of birth and death. The hell realm represents a mind consumed by hatred, where every thought is colored with violence, pain, and fear. One who lives in anger already inhabits hell, for there is no need for a fiery pit. The burning is inside. The hungry ghost realm reflects insatiable craving, always hungry, always wanting more, never satisfied. Even amid abundance, suffering persists because desire knows no bounds. Like the hungry ghost with a large belly and tiny throat, feeding endlessly, yet never full. The animal realm is the state of mind lacking wisdom, driven by instinct, fear, and ignorance, living only to satisfy immediate needs without seeing the greater path. The demigod realm is the mind of jealousy, always comparing, always fighting, possessing merit, yet never at peace, for happiness is clouded by envy. The heavenly realm is a state of bliss and blessings, yet easily intoxicated by pleasure, forgetting impermanence, forgetting to practice, because joy lulls the mind into complacency. Finally, the human realm, mixed with suffering and joy, is precious because this blend creates the best opportunity for awakening. Humans know suffering, so they seek liberation, and they know joy, so they cherish it. Thus, the human realm is most favorable for practice. These 6 realms exist not only after death, but in every moment of life. When anger arises, we are in hell. When craving burns, we are in the hungry ghost realm. When laziness and ignorance dominate, we fall into the animal realm. When jealousy grows, we touch the demigod state. When we indulge blindly in pleasure, we drift into the heavenly realm. When mindfulness blossoms, seeing suffering, seeing joy, and practicing, we live truly in the human realm. This understanding reveals that samsara is not only a future story, but a present reality. And practice is the way to care for the mind, to transform it, to free it from lower states, leading to peace. Buddhism teaches that the mind creates the realms, the mind determines the path of rebirth, and the mind is where transformation begins. When the mind is nourished by compassion and wisdom, the 6 realms cease to be prisons and become lessons leading to awakening. At the very moment a wholesome intention arises, we step out of hell, escape the hunger of ghosts, rise above animal ignorance, heal the envy of demigods, build the mindful joy of the heavens, and live fully in the human condition with its potential for enlightenment. Through practicing mindfulness, contemplating impermanence and non-self, nurturing love and clarity, the mind is not dragged into the 6 realms, but gradually escapes samsara. Thus, the 6 realms are not distant destinations awaiting after death. They are mirrors of our inner states in this very moment. And when the mind is transformed, the cycle of samsara comes to an end.
In Buddhist teaching, the final moment of life is considered one of the most crucial, for it determines the direction of consciousness in its next journey. Death is not an abrupt end, but a gradual dissolution of body and mind. As the body weakens, breath shortens and senses fade, the mind becomes extremely sensitive, and all karmic energies accumulated through life arise to guide rebirth. The Buddha taught that at the time of dying, 7 moments of consciousness, known as jhana, arise in rapid succession like 7 waves, each carrying powerful karmic energy that shapes the next realm. During these moments, 2 signs appear: the sign of karma, kama nimitta, and the sign of the realm of rebirth, gati nimitta. The sign of karma manifests as images or sensations related to the dominant deeds of the dying person. One who has done good may see light, serene visions, and compassionate scenes, while one who has committed harmful acts may see frightening images, darkness, or painful memories. These signs come from within, arising from deep karmic imprints. The sign of the realm shows where the mind is heading. Light, lotuses, and chanting may signal a good rebirth, while fire, darkness, or screams may signal realms of suffering. If at this final moment the mind is calm, wholesome, and mindful, the continuation is favorable, leading to a happy rebirth. But if it is filled with fear, hatred, or attachment, those energies drag it into realms of pain. Buddhism stresses that the mind at death reflects habits built over life. One who lived in anger finds it hard to be calm, while one who practiced mindfulness naturally remains clear. Thus, daily practice is preparation for this crucial moment. Traditions advise creating a peaceful environment for the dying, with no crying or disturbance, but radiating loving kindness, chanting, and reciting the Buddha's name to awaken wholesome seeds, because even one final wholesome thought can redirect the stream. Buddhism also teaches that even one who committed wrongs can change at the last moment if sincere repentance and trust in goodness arise, like a boat heading toward darkness that turns its rudder toward light. What matters is not where we die, but with what state of mind we die, for that state opens the door to the next realm. If the door opens with peace and wisdom, light awaits. If with fear and anger, darkness. Understanding this, we see that every thought, word, and action today is the cause for that moment. Every mindful breath is training so that when it comes, the mind smiles, lets go, and flows toward peace. Buddhism reveals that no one else decides our path. No hand rewards or punishes, only mind and karma, and we hold the compass for our endless journey. Living with this awareness removes the fear of death, for death is not the end, but a redirection, a natural transformation of the mind stream. When the mind is used to calm, compassion, and wisdom, that final moment becomes the gateway to a dawn where wisdom's light shines, where the soul is free, fearless, beyond suffering, and only boundless joy remains.
There is a silence beyond all sounds, a serenity beyond all concepts, and this is what the Buddha called nirvana. It is a reality that words cannot grasp, a state that thoughts cannot reach, because it does not belong to the realm of being or non-being, of birth or death, of coming or going. Nirvana is not a place we can seek, not a realm we can own. It is not a reward after death, nor is it a cold emptiness. Nirvana is simply the complete ending of all causes of suffering, the extinguishing of craving, hatred, and ignorance, the cessation of all conditions that create the cycle of samsara. When there is no fuel, the flame naturally goes out. No one puts it out. It stops because there is no condition for it to burn. In the same way, when the mind no longer nourishes greed, anger, and delusion, when it no longer clings to the illusory self, the cycle of rebirth naturally stops. This ending is not loss, but absolute peace, infinite freedom. The Buddha taught that there is a realm beyond all concepts of existence and non-existence, beyond all fabrications, and this is the cessation of suffering. This teaching opens a completely different way to see the purpose of life, showing that ultimate happiness does not come from accumulation or attachment, but from letting go, from deep understanding and inner liberation. In the teaching of dependent origination, all phenomena arise because of conditions and cease when conditions no longer exist. Samsara continues because of craving and ignorance. When ignorance is destroyed by the light of wisdom and craving is ended by a heart of compassion, the stream of samsara stops, like a flame that goes out when fuel is gone. This stopping is nirvana. Many people ask where one goes when attaining nirvana. The answer is nowhere, because there is no self to go, no place to arrive. Nirvana is not a destination in space. It is a stillness beyond all concepts of time and space. It does not belong to existence or non-existence, because both ideas cannot cover nirvana. In the scriptures, nirvana is compared to the sky when the clouds are gone.
The sky has always been clear, but was covered, and when the clouds dissolve, the light appears, not because it is created, but because it was always there. The wisdom and peace of nirvana are the same. They have always existed in every being, only hidden by thick clouds of ignorance. When these clouds vanish, the bright nature is revealed, not from outside, but from within. This shows that nirvana does not have to wait until after death. It can appear right in this life. When the mind lets go of all attachments, all fears, and all ambitions, at that moment the mind touches nirvana. A person who lives in mindfulness, who sees deeply into the nature of all things, who loves without clinging, and who lets go without fear, even while still living in this world, can taste the peace of nirvana in every breath, every moment. Nirvana is not far away. It is right in the mind when it is free from greed, hatred, and delusion. Reaching nirvana does not mean disappearing, does not mean merging into nothingness. It means living with a mind that is free, no longer bound by suffering, no longer pulled by the cycle of birth and death. Like a flame, when fuel is exhausted, it does not go anywhere. It simply no longer burns. Therefore, the goal of practice is not to search for a beautiful place, not to hope for a reward in the future, but to transform the inner mind, to see clearly impermanence, to understand deeply non-self, to extinguish all roots of suffering, so that right in the present moment, suffering has no foundation, and in every moment, the mind is already at peace. The Buddha never described nirvana with attractive images,
because any image would make people cling to it. He only pointed out the path, gave the methods, and nirvana must be realized by oneself. Only the one who drinks water knows whether it is hot or cold. No one can drink it for you. No one can speak it for you. Only true practice can bring true liberation. When we see clearly impermanence and non-self, when we can let go of the self and all attachments, we are no longer swept away by the cycles of suffering. Then, even in this very life, nirvana is already here, not far away, but present in the peaceful mind. When this liberation is complete, the cycle of birth and death stops. No new karma continues. No condition arises for suffering to exist. The mind is peaceful, free beyond all concepts, beyond all dualities. That is nirvana, where there is no birth, no death, no coming, no going, only supreme peace that words can never describe.
There is a simple truth, yet filled with deep wisdom. Everything you do, think, and say in the present is weaving the path for yourself in the future. Your mind today is the soil planting seeds for the continuation of tomorrow's mind. No force decides your destiny other than what you are planting in each moment. Every thought, every word, every action carries the energy of karma. Like seeds falling into the earth, they will sprout when conditions are right. Even if you forget, the seeds remain in the depth of consciousness, waiting for the time to bear fruit. Thus, the Buddha taught that the present is the only place where transformation is possible. The past is gone, the future has not yet come, but now, with mindfulness and awareness, you can create wholesome causes for a beautiful result, making the present the most precious gift life offers. Each wholesome thought you give rise to plants the seed of peace. Each unwholesome thought plants a seed of suffering. The past is just seeds already sown. The future is only the harvest. The present is where seeds are planted. So Buddhism sees the present as the only door to liberation. All teachings return to one point: live mindfully now. The Noble Eightfold Path the Buddha offered is not a distant theory, but a practice in every breath, every step, every act. Right view lets you see impermanence and non-self clearly, letting go of clinging. Right intention nurtures wholesome thoughts instead of anger and greed. Right speech makes your words a source of happiness, not harm. Right action and right livelihood keep your deeds and work from causing suffering. Right effort is the correct energy to maintain good and prevent evil. Right mindfulness keeps you awake in all things, not wandering in past or future. Right concentration makes the mind steady, clear, and serene. Practicing the Eightfold Path means not only living well now, but building the road to liberation for yourself. The Buddha said, all phenomena come from the mind. The mind is chief, the mind creates, the mind leads. If the mind is pure, peace follows like a shadow that never leaves. If the mind is polluted, suffering follows like a wheel following the ox's footstep. This shows the power of the present because today's mind
is the cause of tomorrow's mind.
Understanding this, you see your responsibility for each thought, because every thought is a step. Stepping toward light or sinking into darkness depends on your choice. No one can walk for you, no one can carry it for you. The Buddha showed the way, but you must walk it yourself. Practice is not only sitting in meditation for hours, not only chanting, but how you live each moment, how you face yourself, others, and life itself. Every moment is a chance to practice, to transform, to plant good seeds. Look deeply into the present to see what seeds you are watering. Are you nourishing compassion or feeding greed and anger? Are you blooming wisdom or letting ignorance grow? Choose to plant seeds of compassion, wisdom, and peace, because they will bloom into the fruit, guiding you through darkness into light. Buddhism reminds us that the final moment of life reflects the mental habits formed throughout life. If you live mindfully, death comes peacefully. If you live in delusion, death comes with fear. Thus now, while you still breathe, practice, because this present moment decides everything. In life, many things are beyond your control, but one thing always belongs to you: how you plant seeds now. That is your freedom and also your greatest responsibility. Live mindfully. Let go of what needs to be let go. Do what needs to be done with compassion and wisdom, so each passing day is a step closer to liberation. When you live this way, not only the present is peaceful, the future shines, and the cycle of samsara loosens, because when the cause changes, the result changes. Everything begins from the present, and at this very moment, only one right thought arising opens the path. The door to liberation already begins to open, and the future is shaped by the light of that thought.
Closing all the teachings, we see that the path to liberation is not somewhere far away, not waiting for another life, and not a gift from any divine power, but the transformation in each present moment. From understanding death as transformation, from realizing consciousness as a stream of dependent arising, from seeing karma as the compass of direction, from knowing the 6 realms are only mental states, from recognizing the final moment shapes continuation, to experiencing nirvana as the cessation of suffering, all point to one truth: the mind creates everything, and the mind is where liberation begins. When we live mindfully, cultivate compassion and wisdom, and let go of greed, hatred, and delusion, every step on the noble eightfold path leads us out of the darkness of samsara into the light of peace. One day, in a silence beyond words, the mind will be completely free. No more coming, no more going. Only boundless serenity remains. This is nirvana, the gate of liberation the Buddha opened for all beings.